Welcome to Artists We Love. My name is Okiba Jabalo, and today we are with Miss Grace Kisa. And she's one of the top dogs, top dogs in the creative scene and everything. And thank you for taking time to, just open your home up, your studio up, and let the world in and everything. So, who are you for those who don't know?
I am an artist, a creative photographer, sculptor, painter, originally from Nairobi, Kenya, and I grew up on the continent of Africa and on the east coast of the United States in McLean, Virginia, and Georgia.
So what brought you to Atlanta?
I came to go to college at the Art Institute of Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, same here. That's what's up. So what did you study?
I studied advertising design, graphic design.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, same here.
Yes.
Same here. That's what's up. So how do you go from the digital art to the fine art? Were you pretty much pursuing fine art before the digital, or is it something that you kind of came into?
I did art through high school. Well, really, from middle school through high school, actually my whole life. But I had an excellent high school art teacher. And then I went to art school, and at the time the idea was to become an artist, the only idea I had was either you're selling on, painting on the side of the street, painting portraits and selling them, or you do an advertising or graphic design degree to make money. So that's why I went and pursued that degree.
Wow.
Now, you were asking, how do I move from...
Yeah, how'd you go from the digital art to some of the beautiful work that we see now? Because that's a big gap.
It is a big gap, and it was a long process. So after graduating, I worked for an art distribution company. My first big art job was painting for this company that supplied art for interior designers, corporate entities like hospitals and interior design firms, hotels. And so working for them, painting all day for their line of artwork that they produced.
And that kind of helped to move your style in a certain direction?
Definitely, because they had a line of art, so anything from landscapes to abstracts. And sometimes we'd get an order for any of those things, so you'd be helping different artists complete their orders. So you got to play with abstract and architectural and landscape, that kind of thing. And so I developed my my range, working with different media and different subject matter. And then also working there was kind of like going to graduate school. So in our school, we were taught to work for an advertising agency. Everyone wanted to get a job with Coca-Cola or with an ad agency. And in this company, I learned that there was a whole other art market, which was fine art, like original art for the masses on a small scale. So it was not printmaking like prints. What do they call them? Offset prints. It was more originals. So you would do one painting over and over again, but you change one little thing in each painting to make it one of a kind. So it was kind of a monotype. So that also taught me about a whole industry that I had never known about, where they had trade shows, where they sold retail and wholesale and distributor, where there were distributors, wholesalers, and individuals selling art.
Right. And that's funny, it's because I took a similar path.
Yes.
Where after coming out of art school, the Art Institute of Atlanta, I got a job for a gallery doing a similar thing. And they were pretty much like an art house. So they would provide art to the interior designers, everything. And that was like early 2000s, late 99. So then you got into technology. So we would paint one piece and then they would just mass produce them on the canvases, and most of the galleries in Atlanta would bring their work there for us to frame it and everything. So I was able to see everything coming from Bill Lowe to Marsha Woods to Bagel. Everybody's art would come through there. So my IQ jumped. You know what I mean? From presentation to craftsmanship, the whole, because you're seeing it in a fast forward way. So it's funny to hear that part. And a lot of people don't either have access to it or they don't know. And once you come out of that pipeline, like you said, it's like a graduate school.
Absolutely.
And those who know. So when you say that, I know exactly.
Absolutely.
And you could even see it in the work. and everything. So when we look at some of your work, what's the driving force in your work?
In some of my new work, which is the mixed media sculpture, the idea is to incorporate different mediums in one piece. So because I work in a lot of different media, it keeps it interesting. Even when I was a painter, it was mixed media. So I would collage, or I would paint, or I would print and paint, or I'd do photography and print and paint. But so I wanted my sculpture to be have the same interest for me.
I gotcha.
So all of them are at least made of clay, metal, and wood. So the heads and hands are made of clay. The frames are usually metal, and I build them out using zip ties, wood, sisal fiber, anything to give it volume. I do all the faces are hand modeled, original, and to give it character. And I'll mix in household items, kitchen utensils, odds and ends that I find at yard sales, dumpsters, thrift stores, antique marts, and make them all work together. So it's kind of like making a puzzle, piecing a puzzle, and coming out with something new.
Let me ask you this. This is one of the things I came away with when I left the gallery situation that I worked for. I noticed how easy it was to mass produce somebody else's work. So what I came away with was that I'm going to make it impossible for you to be able to carbon copy my stuff if it's out there. And so I added textures, I added certain things that you couldn't put on a flatbed scanner, you can photo, and I added certain elements. So did you leave away with the same kind of feel? Because I see a lot of texture, a lot of movement, and a lot of things that when you see Grace's pieces,
there's a lot of work that went into it. So you're not going to want to, I'm not going to say that it's foolproof, but you're going to have to work to make
real hard
to make it. So I put in a lot of detail. So you can't just turn around and crank it, because there is a problem with being in the artist market. Is people are looking for the quick hit. So someone jumping in the market will see an artist who's selling and duplicate it. Or a lot of times they might be encouraged by a dealer that Okiba's doing these flags, do those, and we can sell them too. And so they'll find someone who will do it, and because you have done it in a particular way, they may duplicate it to a point, but then at another point, someone who collects your work can tell the difference, or you can tell the difference, or even just the layman will be able to tell. There's some certain markers in your pieces that piece does not have. But so I do put in a lot of work as a deterrent to someone trying to duplicate.
So we're going to take a break. This is Artists We Love, and my name is Okiba Jabala, and we're here with Miss Grace Kisa. And when we come back, we're going to talk about art in Atlanta and what we need to do, what we need to change, or just do we need to change or do anything? Just keep riding it out. All right. So this is Artists We Love, and we'll be right back.
I'm Maynard Eaton, and welcome to this week's edition of Georgia Power. My guest is one of the most revered and renowned civil rights leaders of all time, Reverend Dr. C.T. Vivian. Nice being in your home, sir. Nice seeing you again.
Thank you, my friend.
We were reminded last week in the state capitol, the U.S. capitol, of what you went through most of your life. John Lewis leading a sit-in in Congress.
Wasn't that wonderful?
You think so?
In fact, I called John right away so he could tell his office, because I knew he wasn't going to be right there. But it was just good to know that he turned to and took with him to the Capitol. Is that if you go back to Gandhi, then you see that no matter how great the power, you can deal with it with nonviolence. If you are not true if they are not true to the ideals and the ideas of your country. you can win.
So you think that still works? Did it really work during your era when you were doing it all across the South?
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and did last week the
In fact,
Congress?
it was worse than being at the capital city, because you're dealing with all these killers and who do it in the name of goodness and love and truth, right?
Killing.
That's exactly right. When a good deal of their basic religious life is to hate you, but not to ever admit it. Just to kill you if you admit it too much.
All right, welcome back to Artists We Love, and my name is Okiba Jabalo, and this is YBE TV, and we're here with Miss Grace Kisa. And I'm gonna ask you, why Atlanta? Everywhere else in the world that you could be, but why here?
Well, Atlanta is where I came of age as a young adult, and also when my art career started, when I left the company that I was working with, the art market was really bubbling in Atlanta. And so I stayed. It was the quality of life was easy, was very enjoyable, and it didn't cost. The cost of living was not so high.
Right.
So it allowed me that.
Right.
I could afford to live here as well as make art here.
Super important with the art, because when you look at California, New York, DC,
Yes.
it's like almost having to choose between living and making art. Because
Right.
I took that road of I'm gonna move up north,
Yes.
and then go do the same things. And when you
Yes.
look at that gap as far as how much stuff costs,
Yes.
Atlanta makes all the sense in the world. And it's so looking at Atlanta and being your base, what do you feel like is like one of the important things to do to change the business scope?
To change the business scope for artists in Atlanta is that Atlanta needs to be culturally sophisticated. So they need to grow culturally. Museums, there's really one basic museum, and it needs to, the trash truck.
We keep it honest.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
The people, culturally, they're not as sophisticated as far as buying art, or I'm saying the breadth, the wide range of it. So of course we know there's 20% of the population that does go out looking at art. They even travel to go and see shows. A lot of times I will see shows in the DC metro area or in New York that I would have to pay, get a plane ticket to go and see, that wouldn't come to Atlanta. Recently, however, for the first time in over 20 years, I saw a show that got me so excited at the High. It was Iris van Herpen. She's a Dutch artist who does these conceptual fashion pieces. And it blew my mind, because I never thought I would be able to see that here in Atlanta. But it took 25 years for me to get a show that I was excited about in Atlanta.
Do you think the business structure, like when looking at art galleries and the relationship with the galleries to the artists, one thing I found that's difficult is that we don't have a gallery to represent a certain tier of work. So then when you don't have a gallery that truly represents that tier, then you can't really groom a collector to get there and everything. So how do you feel about the idea of saying artists that produce on that tier maybe should form their own gallery?
And like a co-op.
Yeah. And then that way you can groom your audience with less of a high percentage that you end up having to pay the so-called I won't call them so-called, but I'll say this gallery structure. Do you think that's a good idea? Or?
I think it's a great idea. All of it can help contribute and grow this the cultural aspect in this city. In that you're growing collectors, you're talking about collectors that you already have as a group, this coalition, right? And that then you will draw attention from other people who are interested or would like to learn about that. And you can learn directly from the artist, not necessarily through a dealer. And I'm not discounting a dealer, because sometimes an artist can't be. So if I have a dealer in Maryland, I can't be there all the time. So she is my representative there, right? And I can go there when I have a show, and the collectors can meet me. But in this situation where Atlanta has so many creative people, and it's so culturally rich in that way. We should have that. We should have a way for artists to exchange with the public.
I got you. So what should we expect next for? Do you have a show coming up, or what's coming up?
I do. I have a couple of festivals that I'm doing that are coming up. I have a show at a museum in Maryland in May, the end of May. Maurice and I are going to be participating, and it's a show called Indigo Magic. And it's celebrating using indigo, the color indigo, that was used in the dyes in West African culture. And so that color has to be prominent in those pieces. So that's next on the agenda. That and the festival shows that I'm doing.
So what we'll do is make sure we have all of your web links in this show and everything, so everybody knows exactly where to find her. Super talented sister, and make sure you support it at full price. So don't come to the artist asking for discounts. That's one of my pet peeves. You know, you can't go to Broadway and ask for a discount when you buy a ticket. So don't do that, man. That's bad luck. You know what I mean? So this has been Artists We Love. My name is Okiba Jabalo, and like I said, we'll have the web links all in. And thank you for taking time with us, and thank you for taking time out of your schedule.
Thank you for making time for me.
Hey, man, I'm in. All right. See y'all next time.
Okay.